All right, guys. On this episode of the Fit Rockstar Show, we have with us the Machine. He is known as the Swolverine, Mr. Brian Cage, professional wrestler. Thanks for being here.
Hey, appreciate the introduction.
Hey, yourself.
I have more monikers you could have used, but I'll take the two. The two you used are good ones.
No, give me some ones. I got the Power Man with the Iron Fist.
Oh my goodness, that.
You do look like a Power Man.
Well, okay, so someone just said that the other day too, where I was talking back and forth. That's a comic book reference, and that's from a commentator, Matt Stryker from Lucha Underground, who he's one of my favorite commentators. But Power Man and Iron Fist is a Marvel comic, Luke Cage and Iron Fist, and so he said, "I'm a Power Man with an Iron Fist." So it's like just a play on words.
I'm looking at you right now, and you're a pretty big mother.
I mean, I do all right. I lift some weight sometimes.
You do all right?
But I mean, you've seen a lot of people that lift a lot of weight.
That look like crap.
Well,
You don't.
I mean, that I would understand more if you're talking about. Unfortunately, a large percentage of the wrestling community now. There's so many people that don't work out like
In
that
wrestling?
used to. Yeah, man.
Yeah, it's not what it used to be.
I know. Back in the day, everybody was all jacked. That's my first. Right before I started training wrestling, I was like, I got to get. Like, I only graduated like 155 pounds, and I'm like, at high school that is.
And you're 275?
Right now I'm probably like 265. And I was like, this isn't gonna cut the mustard. I gotta look the part, be the part.
Mustard.
And so I was like, look, I gotta start working out and getting freaking jacked before I go to a wrestling school and try to pretend like I want to be a wrestler. So I remember that summer I graduated, my sophomore PE teacher, who was a big fan of wrestling, knew I wanted to be a wrestler, and he let me into the my high school's weight room, so because he had summer school. So all summer long, I would jog every morning to my high school. No matter how late I stayed up and partied and hung out with my friends, and then I would just start working out, and that's what really like made me fall in love with just training and like the whole bodybuilding lifestyle.
And seeing the transformation and the muscles and everything.
And then my first like loop of like independent shows in California with one school I was with. We would go and watch a few shows, and I'm not doing anything. I'm just like there for like the experience. And afterwards, he goes, "Oh, so what'd you think?" And not even trying to be a smart ass or like dog anybody. I was like, "Wow, there's a lot of guys in the independents that don't like to work out, huh?" And like he laughed, and I wasn't even trying to make a joke or like to shit talk anybody, but I was like, "Oh," I mean, that was like my first observation. Like, man, there's a lot of people that aren't in shape at all. So, yeah, it definitely seems it's not the same as the larger than life.
Listen, even back in the day with, I don't know if we can say WWE, but Earthquake, Tugboat, and those guys were fat, right?
No, wait, but they're still monsters, though. Like
there are monsters.
Okay, so there's that too. I mean, there's always, rules of the exception, and and even
like
today,
Vader.
Today, yeah. Well, and even like today too. Also, there's a lot of smaller guys or guys who don't look the part or are in shape, but the athleticism and just the overall ability these guys possess in the ring, I think, are so light years away from where people were back in the day.
I totally agree with you.
But yeah. But also too, like, because you had your Hulk Hogan's and this and that, but then you had your Earthquakes and Tugboats were predominantly heels as well. That's why, because they're big monstrous dudes, but they weren't like the baby faces getting, the cheers and so their role looked more fitting to be booed and hated on. So
yeah, the guys nowadays are very sloppy looking to me, fat, flabby. They're not really tight like you. Do you consider yourself tight?
I mean, I'd say so.
So at any time, are you the kind of guy that just takes off his shirt and is like, hey, look at me?
I mean, I don't usually have a shirt on very often.
Oh,
People usually do complain about that.
So
I don't know if they're complaining or just pointing it out. But
Okay, I see. So what got you, with the bodybuilding thing, you obviously, when I first saw you, I'm like, holy shit, this guy's in shape. He's got a great physique. Have you competed in bodybuilding?
So going back to when I first started training, that's like, I was always like kind of like a fan of it. I started, reading a bunch of magazines and whatnot to kind of get ideas for workouts or diets and whatnot. And as I progressed, the idea of wanting to compete was always something I wanted to do, but I was always kind of tiptoeing around it, like, oh, but what if I have a show I got to do or this or that, and just finding an excuse not to do it. And then in 2011, I was hurt and I couldn't train for a while. And on top of that, too, it was just a bad year for me. And all those people, look, I'll look at the camera and point out all the people out here they always want to pick up those photos from 2011 and be like, oh, look how bad Brian Cage looks, blah, blah, blah. Like it was an overnight transformation. Any year before 2011, I still looked great. I was way smaller, but I still looked great. And 2011, I was hurt and I was out of the gym. I was broke. I was depressed. It was a terrible relationship. I had just gotten fired from WWE. There's a bunch of bad stuff going on. So it was just definitely a big falling down in my, and not just my career, my whole life. And then once everything started turning around towards the end of 2011.
When did things start turning around for you? What was it that's you like, okay, now we're getting on a right track again?
I just was able to finally start training again a little bit. And then I landed a decent little training gig that was making decent money. So it was everything.
So the training was the core. Like that was the thing. Like, okay.
Oh, I mean, I'm not totally sure I don't do anything else, but to me, training is like definitely my addiction and my high. So like,
I can tell.
Right. So like without that, I was just feeling so lost and like, every day. And like, I felt like there was just like no sense of urgency or I don't want to get over dramatic. Like there's no purpose in life, but
Don't start crying.
It definitely played a role on me. And then just on top of everything else that was going on, I mean, I was definitely severely depressed over it all. And then just as, my living situation got better, my relationship got better, finances started coming back in, I could start training again. It all just gradually, improved. So I was like, you know what? I think I'm going to do a show now. And I was like, you know what? F it, Brian. You've always been talking about almost doing a show forever. I'm like, I'm going to use this now as one big plus about whenever you get injured or have a big setback is it always helps you find like a new fire inside of you when you on the comeback. So I was like, you know what? I'm finally going to do a show. I was like, I keep on always talking about it. Like, I'm finally going to do a show. I'm getting the best shape possible. Now it will help make me get in the best shape possible and do a show. So I did my first show in 2012, the Fresno Classic. And I won. I did novice and open. I won both my classes, and then I know there's a second place overall, but via the points, I was second place.
I never said that.
I know. People always say that though, but I was so stoked. I was like, "What?" Because I thought for sure, I was just happy that I won my class. And I saw the score, and I'm like, "Oh, technically, I almost won." I was like, but and that first show, I was stoked on it, and then I just fell in love with this. Like, all right, I'm gonna keep doing this. So I did.
Who was your idol in bodybuilding? Did you have anybody you looked up to?
I mean, originally, no one. I just liked bodybuilding. And there's the people. I remember like one of the first magazine cover I ever popped for. When I was like, oh, who's that guy? Was Lee Priest. I remember seeing his arms and the tattoos. Like, oh, who's this guy? Then obviously, everybody like Coleman and Cutler. Yeah. And I felt like they were like the two everyone knew, like if you knew bodybuilding or not. But then but my all-time favorite became Kai Green for sure.
Oh, he's something.
So right, and then in 2013, I did the Fresno Classic again, and I won the overall that time. And Kai Green happened to be the guest poser and trophy presenter. So I'm on stage with him. Actually, him and Flex Wheeler both with the overall trophy, which is a sweet little photo. And then fast forward to now, last year rather, and I thought it was so rad that I got to do a workout video being sponsored by Redcon on the same team with Kai Green. I'm like, wow.
And you did wrestling with him, right?
I did.
I seen that video.
Right? Yeah, it was a pretty fun video. Yeah. He was the one to try to do it. I was like, all right, let's go.
He's a cool dude. I like Kai.
Oh, he's great. He's great. It's like in that whole weekend of doing stuff with him too, like he's so talkative about everything. I mean, obviously too, he goes into his Kai Green mannerisms too.
Sure.
But no, he's such a good dude.
What is the Kai Green mannerism?
Well, maybe some people mannerism isn't the right verbiage because he does.
Can you do an impression of Kai Green?
I cannot. I wouldn't even know where to begin. But but no, just his what word am I looking for? His intricate verbiage that he uses to explain or answer questions. Yeah. I don't know, because like I would be chuckling, and on this side, I'm like, oh, this is totally like a Kai Green answer right now.
Do you think we're going to see Kai Green in the Olympia?
Oh, man, I don't know.
Every year, I know, right? It's like, is he going to do it? And he looks great.
He has competed forever. I know. I always see him whenever I go to Redcon, and he looks like he's 6 weeks out every time I see him. Like stays in shape, and which is nuts. The fact that he hasn't competed for so long, yet he still stays in such great shape. I'm like, how do you find your why for that if you're not like trying to compete?
Right.
Incredible.
He's incredible. He's very passionate, dedicated to sport. But so you did 2 shows. So did you do any other shows? Yeah.
So I ended up doing 5 shows total, and I won a few overalls. And then I was gonna prep for nationals back in 2015. Well, I was prepping for nationals in 2015, and then the show that I was signed with at the time, Lucha Underground, they were starting their second season. Well, they started their second season 2 weeks earlier than they were supposed to. And when they sent that email, I was like, no. I was like, I'm doing this show, and blah, blah. I've been prepping for it. They're like, no, we really
How many
need you.
weeks out were you?
When they told me, I think I want to say 6 weeks. I want to say it was about 6 weeks out. So it wasn't far. And I was doing it for a while.
Close.
I know. And like on the glass half full, I looked awesome for the show then, but like for wrestling. But yeah, I told them I had the show. I didn't want to do it. We went back and forth, and then they offered me a bonus not to compete. So I was like, well, that's kind of cool. So
Yeah,
like,
that is very cool.
so then I prepped for another show at the end of the year to requalify for the next year, and then a different conflicting schedule happened with AAA group in Mexico for their big pay-per-view. They got moved that date. I'm like, man. So I moved it again to the following month, and it was going to be the first time show in LA on the NPC calendar. And I was like, you know what? It was the same day as the Lucha Underground taping, but the timing that we shot Lucha Underground is like I told you prejudging, go and wrestle, and then come back for the night show and fit it all in one day.
Oh my God.
And I was going to do it. And I had somebody
That's crazy.
And I had somebody set up to document it, and that what made it even more exciting for me. I was like, oh, to do that, to be challenged. And then the NPC pulled it off the calendar because there was enough contestants that signed up. So after all that, I was like, I am so done with this preppy nonsense. And then I never did it again until I just decided that I think I'm going to do it again this year with my wife. So
With your wife?
Yes. She just did her first show in November.
Your wife is the beautiful Melissa Santos.
That is
right?
correct.
She's
Which we met on Lucha Underground.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
And she's a commentator? What is
She's a ring announcer.
ring announcer. Yes. Wow.
I mean, then she's done like backstage interviews, and she's done a couple of matches herself too, but she's typically a ring announcer.
Tell me about this show. So you just competed?
People always ask how I got here. I was willing to work just a little harder than everyone else. Every damn day. If I can have hundreds of hours back, you know I'm gonna grab them. Spending hours prepping chicken, rice, and vegetables, F that. I rely on perfect nutrition. I rely on trifecta.
She competed in November, first week of November. That was her first show. We were gonna do a show
Muscle
together.
contest show in Cali or
No. It was in Vegas.
Okay.
It was oh my gosh, what was it called?
Was it Austin Carr show?
No, it was it Steve? I don't know. I wasn't even there because of that wrestling show. I felt dumb what it was
Wait
called.
a minute.
But I know.
Whoa, wait a minute.
I know.
Did you just say you weren't at your wife's show?
I was not.
And this is her first show.
It was.
And you wasn't there.
And I helped prep her for
Where
it
were
too.
you?
In the Northeast.
You wrestling? You had an event?
Yeah. Well, because because you and I already had all these bookings done beforehand, but I had a few different things before and after the show, and then I took another booking the day of her show because I was already going Northeast. Like, babe,
Sure.
for me to try to make it back, I was like, I'm gonna miss prejudging, and then maybe I'll see you at the night show, depending on when you go on. But I have to fly out that night too.
Maybe
so like,
I see you.
I'm like, via flight wise, I'm like, or I could just stay here and then do another show. And
How did she take it?
Oh, she wasn't happy about it. But
Of
then
course.
at the end of the day-
You know what you should have did? Okay. All right, you would have missed the prejudging. You should have came night show, 5 minutes, whatever it takes on stage, and just been there. Just saying, bro. Okay.
I was
She's
watching.
Spanish. She's Puerto Rican, or what?
Nicaraguan.
Oh, jeez. Even.
So, she was stoked on. But she had a bunch of support there too, and everyone was sending me videos, and I was talking to her, video chatting throughout the day and stuff. So,
And she won.
she got second place. In her,
What division?
Bikini. I don't know. She wanted to do
Still
wellness.
great.
So I was like, just do bikini first. I feel like everybody just wants to do wellness because it's like the new thing too. So
She can do wellness for sure.
for sure. I told her too. I was like, you just gotta.
She would smoke it in wellness.
There was even then the people who were there, and that's something also, especially in the NPC. You never know who's going to show up.
No, and it
So,
doesn't
like,
matter who's
yeah.
going to show up anyway because she's smoking hot. She's got a great physique.
Oh, sure. But I'm saying like so say if if nobody of great look, I guess to put it, shows up in a class, and obviously if you're like okay, you can win that class because nobody's so that's why I mean
I don't look at it like that.
No,
I
I've seen
want the challenge.
Of
okay?
course, everyone
Right.
wants a challenge, but I've seen it where it happens.
Of course it
Where
does.
you're like,
But isn't that the best though when you
Right.
come in and she's that type of person? She comes in, nobody's expecting it, boom, it's all hers.
For sure. I remember there was one girl that wanted to compete, and she did not look like she was going to compete at all. Like, she didn't know what she was doing, and she wanted to do figure because she didn't want to do bikini, and she couldn't even. I don't think she should have even been bikini. This is a girl from like an independent wrestling scene, and but she wanted to do figure because she loved Dana Lynn Bailey when she was blown up at her high moment, and she was bragging online about it that she got second place in her first ever show, and I'm like, you got second place because there was only 2 of you in the entire.
Oh, she's one of those people.
Like in the entire figure division, all height, there was only 2 of them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, so you got second place because
I got
you just.
second.
I'm like, whatever, it is what it is, but like, don't try to make it seem like it's better than.
No, you're right.
Yeah, I'm like,
but
so.
you just crapped on her happiness, though.
I mean, this was years ago.
But you're right.
But even then, that's.
I laugh at that too. Listen, it happens all the time. Somebody says, "This is my question at an NPC show. I won my class." I always ask, "How many people?" Just me. Yeah, nobody had the stance.
Well, and that's. I mean, again, I guess that's not their fault,
right?
But that does. I mean, because technically, you could not train at all then, and just show up. If you're the only person in the class, then you win just by default because you entered and nobody else did.
So this is interesting. I want to ask you. You've been to a lot of shows, obviously, and what do you think of like a national show, USA's nationals, where some athletes are the only ones showing up? Do you think that there should be a rule where it's like, okay, at a national level show, if it's just one athlete, we just let it go?
I mean,
because do you think it's fair that person gets their pro card and there's nobody there to
go? And it's like, because even then, I've always thought that I don't know how there could be some prerequisite for competing. And I understand it'd be a lot easier to control the national stage than just the regional NPC shows. But like, because when I see people up there, and some people are kind of making a mockery of it, and other people maybe lost a bunch.
When you say mockery, what do you mean? Like somebody just out of shape, just showing up?
Yeah, I've seen that happen before. Like,
we saw it at nationals.
Yeah. So like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, which is crazy. I don't even know how you got to nationals, but
because nobody was there.
I know, but like, oh my goodness, like, cause I've had people, that qualify, for national shows, but they got second in their class or whatever, and they're like, oh, I want to do, the USA's, and I go, no, you don't. I'm like, why? I'm like, the guy who won the overall is going to place last at the USA's.
Yeah.
So what place do you think you're going to get? One guy in particular, I prepped. He was a physique guy, and he was so mad that I was like, insulting him. So I'm going to do it on my own. I go, go ahead.
Well, you're being honest with him.
I know, I was. You're just going to spend so much money and waste your time, man. And like, you did one show, you think you're just going to become pro like that overnight? Right. And so he's like, I'm going to do it myself. I'm like, good luck. What do you get? Last place. So I was like, and I don't know how much money he spent, but I was like,
did you ever talk to him again?
Yeah, no, I did. And he was kind of like,
you're right, man.
Kind of, you're right, but then he also was kind of like, no, this is a bunk federation. I'm going to go WBFF.
And I'm like, he's a crybaby.
Yeah, a little bit. So, I mean,
I'm going to get burned for what I'm going to say next year, but it's my show. But it doesn't matter. There's a lot of guys who, on the national level, who would never get their pro card, go into the natural shows, the natural pro, to get their pro card, and talk about an easy way out, right? I mean, that's like, to me, it's like, you can't even get your pro card at national, but you're going to the natural to get it. It's like, are you kidding me? I lose respect for that.
Sure. No,
I'm not dissing anybody, but you're right. I mean, there are people who show up at nationals. It's a smack in the face to some athletes. Now, in saying that, if it's somebody who lost a good amount of weight, had cancer, something that was, I get that. But there are people, we did have one recently at nationals who competes all the time. But unfortunately, he went to some show, nobody there, got nationally qualified, and came on stage. And listen, this guy was a great poser. He was great. But he was out of shape. He was like somebody in the audience just stepping on stage.
It just looks so like...
you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah, I do. I saw the videos.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's always looks so like insulting to all the other competitors in the sport itself, And I'm like...
I think this
because think about it this way. You can't just walk onto the field and play in the Super Bowl or just, be part of it. Like, that's just...
No, it doesn't happen.
Put it like in retrospect to something like that. You can't just be like, oh, okay, cool. No one else, played this sport in my school in my location, so I can just go be part of this, major professional game. Like, no, I don't know.
But anyway, we're going back to you.
Yeah.
That guy's probably at home eating popcorn or something. Anyway.
Maybe he's a big Brian Cage fan. Thanks, man.
Oh, he probably is. Speaking of, do you have your own merchandise?
Of course I have my own merchandise.
Where's my freaking t-shirt then?
That's for one. What the heck?
You're supposed to just give me one.
I don't even have in my back pocket. Like, here you go.
I want some merch. Where do we get your merchandise at?
ProWrestlingTees.com/Brian Cage.
What do they say? The machine on them.
There's a bunch of them machines.
Why do they call you the machine?
So that was originally from
The ladies call you the your wife calls you the machine.
I mean, that's a different interview.
Is that where that came from? Oh, baby, the machine.
Wait. Can we fully cuss on this?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay, I'm just making sure before
Just
I tell
don't
the
go
story. nude. It's better.
Hey, if you feel like doing that, man, you can do it. I don't
It's
care.
always so much better when I'm naked. So PWG, which is this huge independent promotion in Southern California, one of the commentators, Excalibur, who's actually a commentator for my current company, AEW, that I'm signed with, he, whenever I would do like a cool like feat of strength or something, he would start always saying it, especially specifically this one suplex move. He'd always go, "Oh, Brian Cage is a fucking machine," and like he just started saying it. So then everybody else started saying it like online and calling me that, and I'd hear it on the commentary, and I was like, "Oh, that's pretty neat." I'm like, so I just kind of ran with that and.
Wait a minute, where's Wolverine though? Where did that come?
Okay,
Now you do have the Wolverine,
Yeah,
Wolverine
I'm
look.
a huge Wolverine fan since I was 8 years old, and that was from whenever I'd be playing like a heel again on the independent scene, and if the crowd would ever be jeering me, they'd be like, "Oh, whatever, Wolverine, blah blah," and I'd be like, "Whatever, Hugh Jackman wishes his arms were this big," and some guys like, "Oh, that's because you're the Swolverine." I was like,
Right? Yeah.
and so there's a bunch of different ones that I've had, Multi-Move Paragon, Mr. GMSI. So Mr. GMSI, which stands for Get My Shit In.
I
Everyone
like
always asks me for
that.
That's a wrestling term that usually everyone always complains about when you're trying to do too much. So you're trying to shove 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bag, right? So everybody always complains because I'm out there and I want to go out there and own the spotlight, steal the spotlight, have the match of the night. Like that's usually every wrestler wants to have that moment, and especially for me because one of my favorites and idols and a good friend of mine who passed and helped train me, Chris Canyon, his moniker was the Innovator of Offense, and he had just a plethora of cool ass moves I'd never seen before, and always every time I watched him I was always like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. So I wanted my repertoire to be like his. So like if I couldn't have the best match of the night, at least I wanted a moment, a sequence, a spot, a move, or whatever that somebody's never seen before, at least made them go, wow, shocked and wowed them. And I feel like I've gotten that for a vast majority of my matches. And that's why I got the multi-move Paragon, because I was trying to play off of the Innovative Offense without stealing his stuff completely. I do always ask who better than Brian Cage, and that's a tribute to him since he's passed, because he used to always ask who better than Canyon. So anyways, everybody's giving me a hard time, like, oh, whatever, Brian Cage, you always want to get your shit in. You want to get your shit in. You want to get your shit in. And I'm like, yeah, it's because I'm Mr. Get My Shit In.
I'm Mr. Get My
And then
Shit In.
everybody
I
popped
love
for that, so then I just made that part of my
love
persona
that.
as well.
Is that a t-shirt?
That as well.
I'm going to get that shirt.
There's a lot of shirts. There's a lot of shirts on there. So
Yeah,
like
a lot of shirts.
all of my personal shirts on there and my AEW shirts, they're all on there on that one website.
AEW is really up and coming now, man. It's
been
booming.
blown up.
You guys got everybody. It just looks incredible. But anyway, I want to know something. How hard is it to train on the road and diet?
Yeah, you know what?
Because you're always, you're in incredible shape.
Not as hard as it. Maybe it's because I'm used to it. I actually feel like I'm almost more regimented when I'm on the road because I'm more, I guess, used to that. Whereas when I'm home, it's almost like I'm clocked out, so I'm on vacation mode.
Clocked out.
Even if I'm there just for short time, so it's like I was like, okay. As soon as I leave to the airport, I'm clocked in, I'm ready to go. And as soon as I come home, I'm like, all right, I'm gonna clock out, put my feet up, and then I want to just relax. And if I'm home for an extended period of time, I feel like too it can kind of be at laziness. And
Do you actually vacation? Do you take vacations?
Not per se.
I didn't think so,
know.
yeah.
I know. My wife always wants to go somewhere. I'm like, oh, last thing I want to do is come home and then travel somewhere else.
Right.
So but I did tell her that we'd go somewhere this year for our anniversary.
Aww.
So I was like, okay, all right.
You're
fine.
a good hubby.
But no, like I'm so regimented up with it all that like it's all just about planning ahead, like it is, with anything in bodybuilding too. So I just look out where I'm going to be at and bring X amount of meals, or cook them and freeze them, order them from someplace locally that I'm going to be, find out what gym I can be, where and there, and I map it all out to like the hotel, to the gym, to the venue, and time it out for my call time, and I sit there and I just like a mathematical equation, I just solve the problem.
Now, I had the opportunity to train with you, and I was so in awe because you have this bag filled with stuff, everything. You got all your vitamins, you've got your weight belt, just everything. And then you have a suitcase filled with more stuff of protein powders, pre-workout, whatever, all the fun stuff. And I'm like, this guy is dedicated. And I don't mean just I mean a full-blown suitcase.
You just asked me how many bags I check. I'm like, I always checking 2 because I bring 3 bags. So 1 bag is specifically for the airplane, like, has my pillow, stuff I'm going to read, whatever. But it has all the rest. Like a neck pillow for my
your little neck pillow.
Of course, I'm a diva, right? Yes.
Right.
But it's mainly just my wrestling gear because that's the unwritten rule. You never check your wrestling gear because if you lose it.
The same with bodybuilding. You don't check in your trunks and your posing music.
I mean, those are pretty small. Those are pretty easy to carry on.
Not really, not mine.
I mean, you could probably. Well, yeah, okay, it's true. It's true. I'm thinking from my personal
Wait
experience.
a minute. What are you trying to say?
I could probably take my posing trunks and fold them up and put them in my pocket. But
anyway.
Yeah, and then I have a bag of my bathroom stuff and regular clothes and everything
Diva
else.
stuff.
And then it's just normal people stuff. And then I have another bag separately that has everything, all my supplements, everything I need, and that's my Batman utility belt, as I call it.
Batman utility.
I just have everything. People are like, Brian, do you have this? Yes. Do you have a scale? Do you have a can opener?
Do you have a can opener?
I don't right now, but I do sometimes. I do, yes. That was the best. I was going through customs, just TSA in Boston, and they pull up my peanut butter, and I'm so used to always get my bag checked. I have everything in there, and they pull up my peanut butter, and they go, "You can't." I go, "What's this?" And I go, "Peanut butter." He goes, "You can't." I go, "Yes, it is. It's under 3 ounces. I already have it weighed, and it's like this little small container." And they're like, "Oh, how do I know that?" I'm like, "Look at it." And he goes, "Well, I mean, it doesn't. There's no label on it." I'm like, "So if I were to print out a label and said peanut butter 2.9 ounces, then it'd be, And he's like, "Well, yeah. How am I supposed to know then?" I'm like, I weighed it. It's under 3 ounces. I mean, look at it. And he goes, well, it'd be different. We had a scale. If we had a scale, I'd say, okay. I ripped out my bag. I put a scale on the counter, and his eyes got so big. And he refused to weigh it.
Really?
I'm like, it's even going to be heavier because it's in the container, but it'll still be under. Yeah. And then he even called the manager over because I was throwing a fit about it, and she refused to weigh it too.
So what happened?
They ended up throwing it away. I was so furious.
Pissed. Yeah.
I was so furious. And then they have all my stuff out, right? They're like, oh, would you like to pack it yourself? Like, no, you're going to pack it, and I'll tell you exactly how to pack it all. I'm like, because I got plenty of time, so I'm like, I'm going to make your life a living hell then.
That's hilarious, man.
I couldn't believe it. But it was funny, though, his face when I pull out the scale.
Yeah.
Like, who has
I would
a
have loved to have seen that.
He was like,
this motherfucker got a scale. Now, do you ever go in a restaurant and weigh your food?
In a restaurant? No. I've gone to plenty of restaurants and I bring out my own Tupperware food and I eat that. But
yeah.
But yeah, I've never weighed.
You just don't let me get out my scale.
No. Yeah, if I'm going to order something from the restaurant, then I'll just eat it. But.
Okay. Now, you have traveled all around the world. The farthest place you traveled is where? India?
Well, I've been to India, Japan, Australia. Those are probably all Korea. Those are all
Korea, what was that like?
That was my first place I ever went, actually, outside of the country. I went to South Korea. This is back in February of 2010. And it was cool. It was cool. I very much enjoyed it. It was very Americanized since we have such an influence over there. It was crazy the fact that when we got to go to, we toured all the U.S. bases, and then on one of the off days we went to the border.
How were the guys with you over there? I bet they were freaking going nuts.
It was not. I was smaller than them though too, so I was like, I was so fit in shape, but I was probably like 215, 220.
Oh gosh, that's so small.
Well, it's not quite the same size.
I'm sure you're very ripped though.
Yeah, some girl came in. Just popped in my head. This girl came in into the lobby and just started fawning over all the different wrestlers, and then she was like, "We're like," and she half spoke English, and we're like, "Okay," and I couldn't tell if she was messed up or if that was just her.
She was messed up.
It was 11 in the morning,
That's
so
very nice.
Well, I have no idea. And she's trying to get on everybody, and then she's like, "Oh, look at you!" and stuff. She's lifting up my shirt. She's like, "Oh, you have abs?" And she's like, "Oh," and
she just lifted up your shirt.
Yeah. And it was touching over, whoa, chill out, chick.
Right.
And she does the splits in front of me.
What?
And she's like, oh, what's your hotel room? Can I have your key? And I was like,
God.
come. I was like, we're leaving anyways. But
I'm trying to picture this in my head. So she lifts up your shirt.
Yeah.
Sees the abs.
She's usually excited. She's fawning over everybody. Then she just sees me in my vascularity in my arms. And then she was like, oh, do you have abs? Grabs my shirt
She
like this.
does
And
that,
starts trying to rub my stomach. I was like, whoa, take it easy.
Trying to rub your stomach.
Yeah.
Did she try to put her hand on your pants?
No.
But then, wait a minute. So this is the thing that got my interest. She rubs your abs and then she does a split?
Yes.
Just like a straddle or like a,
Like she's stood back in front of
to
everyone in
impress
the lobby.
you with her
just,
skills? Does she have ping pongs thrown out of her choo-choo?
And so we all just started laughing. I was like, what is this?
Wow.
What's happening right now?
Did you guys have to pick her up one leg at a time and suction cup like she like stuck to the ground looking at your abs? I know I'm going dirty.
Right, I know. Jeez.
Sorry.
No, I didn't get it. Stayed pretty PG, but it
That's
was
hilarious, though.
But wasn't it? We went to the border, right? The DMZ, demilitarized zone, and it was crazy. Like, it was really unique. But I also thought it was funny that it was almost like a tourist attraction, when literally, like, you can sit there and see the North Korean soldiers, and they're all looking at you. And even our like tour guide was like, "Oh, you guys can take pictures or whatever." He said, "Just don't point or make any gestures at them, though."
Points, like.
I get, and I'm like, and they're also looking at you, and they'll have their guns, and all like, and then,
wow,
and it's crazy, and they're like not that far away, and then all the South Korean soldiers, are just sit there, and they're like just stoic, and they're just like a stone, and just like me facing just frozen, they don't move at all, and it's like, it was wild, but the fact that we're there, and then there's like this area where they both kind of can like take turns sharing stuff, like,
really,
it was like where they meet, like this little facility, I don't know. It was really interesting, but at the same time, like the fact that this is like a civil war, just like peacefully just happening, and we're like just like da 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 in between it, like it was a little wild.
All right, so you got to tell me, what do you know a show yet that you're going to be competing at?
The Cutler Classic.
Oh, I'm gonna go. What date is that?
April 9th.
Oh,
it's
I'm
quick.
gonna go.
It's quick. It's quick.
It is quick. It's
I know.
in Las Vegas, obviously.
Yeah.
Yeah, and she's doing bikini.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think she's gonna do bikini and wellness.
I was gonna say she should do both. Crossover.
Both. I know.
Yeah.
I always said like you technically shouldn't be able to do both, right? But I'm like, again, you don't know what's gonna happen. So yeah, just do both.
I would tell her even do figure.
Just
Listen,
line them all up.
All the trophies, man. You know what I'm saying? Shit. Why not?
Just come on and look like you won them all. Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be cute. So this is your first time competing together.
Yes.
Has
Well-
she killed you yet with the diet?
Oh my gosh.
Who's the better dieter, you or her? I would say you.
Well, I've done it a lot longer, but she actually she was very disciplined on her first show, but she did get extremely temperamental, and that was one thing. I'm like, this is gonna be so much fun. It's like, as long as we don't get divorced, then it all
Right.
But we were prepping for a show together in 2017, and then she actually ended up getting pregnant, and that's stopped that. So here we are years later, and I didn't think I was gonna compete again. Everybody's always asked me, and then I just kind of got nostalgic thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? I'll do the show with her. Why not? It's here, yeah, let's do it.
That's sweet. I'm looking for. So I saw a thing with your daughter, the hedgehog.
Yes.
You like hedgehogs?
Love hedgehogs.
So what's the whole? Tell me about the hedgehog.
Well, so I didn't even know you could have hedgehogs as a pet, and like back in like 2006, I think it was. I remember that because I was in Atlanta. I don't know. So I saw it somewhere online. Somebody had a hedgehog, and I was like, what? And I started YouTubing it, and I'm like, people have hedgehogs as a pet, and then I was mortified to find out that nobody had a hedgehog named Sonic. And I'm like, how do people have these hedgehogs and not name them Sonic? Now, I'm like, now it really made me want one. I was like, I want one because I just have to name it Sonic. So it wasn't until like, I think it was like 2013, I think, my ex had found and purchased me a hedgehog in California, which they're legal in California, but they have private breeders, whatever. So I got one, and then I later got another one from somebody else who had it and wasn't really taking care of it, and was looking to get rid of it, so to speak. So I took her, and it was a girl, so I took them both and tried to mate them.
Did it work?
It did not. The first litter died, which is pretty normal. And then unfortunately, my the boy Sonic, he ended up passing out of nowhere as well. And then Pepper, that was the girl's name.
Pepper, I like Pepper.
She was around for quite a while, but then I had to put her down a few years ago because I think it was called wobbly hedgehog syndrome, where like their legs start to kind of back legs start to go paralyzed, so they can't they waddle when they walk, or they can't really stand and stuff, and they don't really eat or drink, and she was getting so skinny. And we tried to do a couple things to help her out, the vet, and improved for a little bit, but then it kept going bad, so we were just putting her down because she was just basically gonna starve herself pretty much to death. So.
Tito. Do you have any other exotic animals now, or
exotic? No, I have there's a Crested Gecko. His name is Steve.
Steve,
and then I have
of all names, Steve.
Yeah, actually, my wife named him.
Okay, I'm not going to
we got him from a friend, and okay, first of all, his girlfriend or ex-girlfriend named him Lisa, and I'm like,
Lisa?
It's a boy. You name him Lisa? I'm like, that's a terrible.
Yes.
It's a terrible name, anyways. And then I was like, we need a different name, and I was trying to think, and my wife goes, he kind of looks like a Steve.
Steve.
And I laughed. I was like, Steve? Well, that's hysterical. I was like, all right, let's name him Steve. I did have a chameleon too. Before I love chameleons, so I like a lot of little animals. And then I have a pug and a boxer.
I love pugs. They're little smashed.
Oh, they're the best.
All dogs are great anyway, though. But boxers are cool.
Pugs. Oh, they have such a fun, just quirky personality.
They do.
Yeah.
Are they gassy? Are they like a
No.
No. Oh my God, my friend has a Frenchie and a bulldog. They're so gassy.
Yeah.
Always, all the time.
I mean,
anyway.
they can be, right? I mean, they can get gassy, but no, they're not. They don't have any gas problems.
So going back to the bodybuilding thing, okay, you go into Jay Cutler, you win, get nationally qualifier.
Yeah.
All right, nationals, USA's. I would say USA's.
I don't know. I'm not.
Let's think ahead, though. I mean, come on, let it out.
It's
Universe.
because it's more of a I guess a hobby for me. It's like fun. I mean, I guess depending on how it goes and how I feel, maybe I'll want to do it more. Maybe I won't. I don't know.
Oh my God! Don't you want to get a pro card?
So I so did, and what's funny is I always wanted to get a pro card, but I actually had no interest in competing as a pro though.
You know how many people get a pro card and don't compete as a pro?
Well, I mean, and I definitely, even then though, the number one reason why I want a pro card is so that I won't change my IG handle to IFBB Pro
Oh, God.
Brian Cage.
I
I'll just
hate that.
I know.
Right.
Everybody does it, and I'm like, why? Just put it in your IFBB Pro. You can just put it in your little
Right.
stats. You know, you don't have to change your name.
So you don't like when people do that?
I think it's a little overkill. Yeah.
It is, isn't
Yes.
it? That's funny. Tell me about, so what is your favorite body part to train? Because again, you look great. I'm assuming you're going to be doing open men's bodybuilding, even
Yes,
though
yes.
I would love to see you in classic.
I would love to do
But the
classic
weight
physique too. I know. I hate that.
You diet down, train hard, and supplement smart for months. When the time comes to step on stage, don't leave your tan to chance. Go with the pros. Pro Tan. #1 worldwide since 1987 and the official sponsor of the Olympia for the last 15 years. Don't step on stage without it. Pro Tan.
And everybody says that as well because I do feel like.
Are you 6'2" or 6'1"?
No, I'm just 6 foot.
6'5". You look taller.
So
Maybe still
yeah,
hair.
people, yeah, right, yeah, especially with the hair now. People always think that I'm taller than I am, but then at the same time, I don't think they realize that obviously then the weight categories with classic physique, I'm like, oh, I'd have to lose too much weight to be able to compete and feel like yeah, that would even look.
How many Olympias
okay.
have you been to?
I think 5.
Wow. You went to the last one?
Yeah,
What'd you think?
as
Uh,
one. Like
I mean,
just
how'd you
overall,
like it? Did you like it?
Oh yeah,
I mean,
of course.
just-
I don't. I think
Big stage.
my favorite one though has probably been. What was the last one I went to? I think was it 2015, 2014. Or the last one I went to with Kai Green and Phil was definitely probably my favorite.
was a
Like
good
the overall
one.
weekend, like was
That
just
was a
was
great
awesome.
one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this last year's was great compared to the year before, obviously, because that's more of it coming
Sure.
back.
Sure.
But yeah, I'm looking forward to it to be in
Look,
Vegas.
it's back in Vegas in your
I know.
hometown.
Speaking of which, why is it in December?
Because I'm assuming we want to get all the shows in. So that way, next year, people are, qualified for next year. So it's all just that year, and then it starts fresh again come
So
March
is it
for
going
the
to stay in
Arnold.
December then?
I would think so. And I'm hoping
I liked it in September though. It was just
you like September. I actually
just
like
'cause it's-
October.
I mean, October's not that bad either because it's similar season. I like just like the weather and the atmosphere with it.
Oh my gosh! Well, I'll make sure I let the boss know.
Yeah,
Hey,
you know.
hey, boss.
You know, December, it's
September.
Christmas time. I'm a huge
Brian
Christmas.
Cage, are
I'm a
you?
huge Christmas fan. Huge Christmas fan.
So you don't like it before Christmas?
No,
Tell me why. I mean, like, what's
I don't know because that's like time to check out and just go look at
time
Christmas
to
lights.
check out? Yeah.
when
Aw.
I went there in Orlando when they had it in December year before, I actually left in the middle of it to go to this hotel that has this amazing Christmas display of like all these different movies that came.
Was it the Gaylord Palms?
Yes.
I know. They got the ice sculptures too.
So I was like, all right, this looks amazing. I'm like, I'm gonna go check this out. So it was worth it. It was so cool.
Of course.
See,
Yeah.
and then I went back.
Well, doesn't Vegas have a lot of Christmas stuff out there, or no?
You know what? We did some. It was our first Christmas out there. We did a lot of stuff, but it wasn't as easy to find a lot of houses. Like I do like just to drive around, look at Christmas lights and like all the music houses, and like everywhere I've lived, I've it on lockdown all over the place of where to go. And we didn't really find any great ones out there this year, but there was still cool stuff to do. We went to 3 different like little like walkthrough exhibit things, and went to the racetrack, and there's a cool drive-through light exhibit. And
So did you dress up as Santa at any time with the cut-off sleeves? And
I have not because that gives it away.
do it.
The only time I ever dressed up as Santa is for little kids, and I'm such a fan of Christmas too. I hate that. I hate it when people don't like have their kids celebrate
Yes,
Santa and
I
Christmas.
agree.
Like,
What do you think of Happy Holidays versus Merry Christmas?
no, I mean, I'm not like offended by it, but like,
It's kind of silly, though, don't you think?
I mean, this feels want to be. I still
Merry
always say
Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah.
Like, and if somebody ever gets upset about that too, I'm like, it's still just a kind gesture, and like, I don't know, people, and that this was like, freaking over 10 years ago when people were offended by everything. Because I remember when I worked
You
in.
still are offended by everything. What
No,
are you
no.
talking
I said
about?
before they were offended by
Oh.
everything. Like when I worked at, I mean, this is like probably almost 20 years ago.
Are you flexing?
No. When I worked at the sporting goods store, they always say like, "Oh, make sure you say Happy Holidays," and like to all the customers. Like, I'm saying that. I'm saying Merry Christmas.
Eh.
Like,
Did you get fired?
no.
Of course not. 'Cause
And it was funny too. No one ever complained. Actually, multiple people were really like, "Oh, it's so sweet to hear you say Merry Christmas." Oh, it's so nice to hear you say Merry Christmas instead of Happy Holidays.
I remember one time I said Merry Christmas to somebody, and the lady was like, "It's Happy Holidays." I said, "Merry Christmas, lady." I didn't care. But anyway, so you have a big obsession with Bruce Campbell. Why?
Oh my goodness, he's the best.
But why? Listen, I love me some Bruce Campbell. Why?
So I watched Army of Darkness first thing I saw him in, and I watched the
Just
trilogy backwards, and Evil Dead 2, and then Evil Dead 1.
Oh, you watched it backwards?
I watched it backwards.
Man, you can't do that.
It wasn't up to me. I was a kid. I didn't know what the heck. And my friends were just talking about it. My brother actually, his friend showed him, and he's like, "Oh, we have to watch this movie." So, and I actually, as a kid too, because I was so little, I thought it was actually called Eagle Dead.
Eagle Dead?
Eagle Dead. Like
Eagle Dead. That's a good one.
maybe my brother just said that, and so I just thought he said, "Oh, it's
Eagle Dead.
Eagle Dead." But yeah, and then I watched from Briscoe County Jr. as well because it was on Fox.
Yeah.
On I think
That
it
was good.
Yeah, so I was a kid watching that, but I was like, man, I love this guy. And just as growing up, I'm a huge horror fan. I love a lot of B horror movies too, and Bruce
See,
Campbell's
horrors or horror?
horror.
Okay.
Horror.
Okay.
I have to test.
You ever
clean.
been to HorrorCon?
You know what? I haven't, which is so crazy. I've been at like so many different cons. I've never
Yo,
been to a
Bruce
horror
Campbell is coming to a big HorrorCon in Atlanta in March, the third week of March.
Con. What am I doing?
But you've met him, which I'm
Yes,
so jealous.
yes. I did meet him. Okay, well, we're jumping again. So, yes, I just love Bruce Campbell. I love everything Bruce. I actually had a dream one time
I had a
where I was at
dream.
talking about a con. I'll tell the story now. That was at some, like, I don't know why I was there. It was a dream, so it doesn't matter. But was like just this big, like, celebrity con. It was just, like, all these A-list celebrities everywhere. And I'm running around frantically looking for Bruce Campbell. And I remember I can't find him anywhere. And I see Jim Carrey, and I run up to Jim Carrey. I'm like, Jim. He's like, hey, what's up? Like I want to meet him. I'm like, totally no-sell him. Don't care about him. Like, hey, I'm trying to find Bruce Campbell.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea where
Screw you, Jim Carrey.
where he is?
Right.
Like, I don't care about you and your mask. Where's Bruce
You
Campbell?
and your mask.
But my friend and I, we did the Bruce Campbell projects up in. He lived in Ashland, Oregon. He was going to school there, and so we drove to like his area. It wasn't too far away.
I was going to say, did you go to his house?
No, we didn't like it. But we're trying. We did find his daughter's boyfriend at a grocery market.
Oh my God.
And then told us that she worked at Applebee's, that we went there, but she wasn't there. And then he tried to get us to go to some party or whatever, but I wasn't going to be in town. Anyways, Bruce Campbell came to my friend's college, and he did some presentation on just about like filmmaking and stuff. So we went to that, and then on the way out, he was even said like, "Oh, I'm not here for like appearance
How old
like
was
that."
this? Well, how long ago was this?
Oh man, like 2003 or
Wow.
4. Yeah.
Oh my God, I'm so envious.
And he's like, so I don't want to take any pictures or whatever. And as he's running out, like me, my friend Brad and I were the only two of everyone that we got able to stop him. And he stopped and he took a picture with each of us. And he's like, all right, guys, I got to get out of here.
Oh, I love his
So-
chin.
His chin.
His chin
Chins
is
could
so-
kill. His book is so good.
I've not read the
Oh, you
book,
haven't read- he has more than one book,
He's got
too,
like
but-
5 books, doesn't he?
But yeah, but his original book, oh, it's amazing. Like my ex then too, like, she read the book and she's like, oh my gosh, she became a fan of Bruce Campbell just because his writing and his sense
How
of
are you
humor was.
not
Yeah,
a fan of him? And
he's
he does
great.
the front flips. Like he does a lot of crazy shit.
He's the man. He's the
Yeah.
man.
I will hope to see him at this Comic-Con I'm going to be going to. But okay, so I got to talk about Sting. You fucking powerbomb Sting, man.
That's right. Lucky to still be alive. No, I'm kidding.
What was that like? And how did you know like ahead of time, hey, you're gonna be powerbombing Sting?
Well, so originally they said something the idea like, oh, I think we're gonna do something where like it leads to you powerbombing Sting. I was like, oh, that's cool. But then like you hear a lot of, what ifs or possibilities, and like until it happens, nothing ever happens. And then there was like this huge storm, and like a lot of people couldn't make it into Florida, and I even had to get like rerouted to like Jersey and spend the night in like an airport, and then fly in to get to like, cause the storm in the middle of the states in Texas where it was connecting or coming from was just screwing everything up. So like the whole show got changed around. And Tony's like, all right, F it. We're going to have you attack Sting and powerbomb tonight. And I go, oh, what?
Oh my God.
And like Sting was like okay with it. And he was the way that like Tony was like hyping me up, like how good it was and how safe I was and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, oh, awesome. And I actually try not to stress about it or even think about it because for those who don't know, Sting got like basically retired like 6.5 years prior from taking a powerbomb into a turnbuckle. But
from
Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins, right.
Anyway, let's say anything Seth Rollins did, it just happened. And so I try to think about it because I don't want to get like nervous and like mess anything up, right? It would suck too because I could have given like a perfect powerbomb and if something happened, so would it be my fault, right? Like technically, I would have got the heat. So I was like, all right. And the only thing I thought about was like, well, cool. I got to lay him out. So I can't take it easy on him. But I was like, but I don't want to kill him either.
Right.
Like, but I can't look like a pussy.
I can't look like a pussy, right?
I was like, so it's got to find somewhere in between.
Yeah.
But end of the day, I tried not to think much about it. I was like, you know what? Just go out there and just do it. Like, don't think about, I'm powerbombing Sting. Just, I'm going to go powerbomb somebody. And that's exactly what I did. And it was fine. And then as soon as I got to the back, I was like, dude, I just powerbomb Sting. I'm like, that was awesome.
That is so awesome.
He was my first wrestling action figure I ever had.
Was
too.
he?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Did you ever have the wrestling buddies?
Of course.
Yeah. I had the Ultimate Warrior.
We had Warrior and Hogan. And then I saw the talking ones from WCW.
The talking ones?
Yeah. I have Macho and Hogan, both of them. Oh, let go of my left arm.
Who's that supposed to be?
Well, I mean, whatever. That's what they say.
I thought that was your Randy Savage.
No.
Oh, I was going to say. The cream of the crop, yeah.
Yeah. The Hogan one says so much more cool stuff. I was a little disappointed. The Savage doesn't say as much.
But he was really good at promos, was he not?
Oh, no. I'm talking about the Buddy guy.
Oh, the Buddy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Didn't say as much?
No, I know. Hogan.
Oh, that sucks.
Hogan be like, the 24-hour, the 24-inch pythons will get you, dude, or like the leg drop will get you. And like, Macho would just say the general phrases. And he maybe said, he did say, like, we turn him off. Like, if you beat him, you lay him down. It goes 1, 2, 3, ding, ding, ding. And go, see you next time. Oh, yeah.
That's God. I like that.
He did say that one.
Sucks though. There wasn't a lot because
I know
Randy was so like he had so much life to him. Did you got a chance to meet him?
I never met Randy. No,
never met him.
No.
Who is the most? I don't know if this is the right way of saying it. Famous wrestler you ever met?
Famous wrestler?
Like the top, the cream of the crop. Who was it?
The cream of the crop. I mean, I guess
Ric Flair.
I mean, I met Ric Flair. I mean, yeah, I guess that's kind of might be objective, I guess. But like,
can we say he's the best heel?
Ric Flair? I mean, he's definitely one of the best. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I've met Ric Flair. I've met Shawn Michaels, Bret Hart, Stone Cold.
And you like Shawn
Hulk
Michaels?
Hogan. Yeah, Shawn Michaels, all-time fave.
Yeah.
All-time fave.
Now, is there anyone who's you can't say it, but who's the nicest wrestler you ever met? Besides yourself.
Realistic, Canyon, my friend, I said it was great, but for his star power and for today, he was still around. Absolutely, Rey Mysterio.
Really?
Rey Mysterio Jr. is like.
And now, how tall is he? Is he like 5 foot?
No, he's like 5'4", maybe. I don't know.
Okay, so he's close to my height.
Yeah, he's not a super tall guy, but yeah, he's super good too. Especially again, that plays a different role too. Like the bigger star power you have, a lot of people think that gives you more reason to kind of be an asshole. Which I mean, you have no reason to be an asshole, but he doesn't have to. For how courteous and thoughtful and nice he is, he absolutely does not have to be that way. And he definitely.
Well, you're the same way. I mean, look, you're a big.
Well, I'm no Rey Mysterio.
Well, you're Brian Cage, the Machine, and you're very humble and down to earth. And again, your body's like, it's very jacked.
I got Rey Mysterio in good shape. When he came back, he left WWE for a little while, and he was in Lucha Underground, and I was training with him for a while, and I got him back in really good shape, and we didn't need to wear his knee braces anymore and everything. So.
Wow.
I also have a little bit of cauliflower ear from him from actually wrestling him with his knee braces on. So.
Wow. Well, listen, it's been really cool with all your wrestling stuff. What's the best title you ever held?
Well, the main title that I've like the biggest, most prestigious one, probably the Impact World Title. So that's like
Yeah, that's
legit
pretty
World
big.
Championship.
Yeah.
I was really ecstatic though for the X Division title too, just because when Impact TNA was first blown up, the X Division, like, that's what really made that company stand out and be different. So to be part of that legacy was pretty awesome as well.
What can we see from you this year besides competing in a show, the Jay Cutler Classic with your wife? What else can we see from you? Any other goals, ventures you plan on doing?
You know what? I do have a horror movie I'm supposed to be filming this year.
What?
Yes.
Get the fuck
Yes.
out!
It's got Kane Hodder in it too. Freaking,
Wow.
Yeah. And well, there's a few other guys in there, but yeah.
Is it like a Hatchet kind of deal, or Kane
somewhat, yeah.
Hodder? I love
right.
Kane Hodder.
There's a couple other old school
He's the best,
guys,
man.
yeah. So like, I'm pretty excited about that. So hopefully we'll do some. There's
Where's
some more
the
things.
filming going to be for that? I want to stock. And where's the filming going to be?
Northeast.
Okay.
Camp Crystal.
Tell me later. Is it? Okay.
I wish. And there's a couple other possibilities, but I never, like, when it comes to any sort of stuff, film and whatnot, I hate talking about because so much of that stuff never happens or just takes forever to happen. And I feel like whenever you talk about it before it happens,
Sure.
you always jinx it. Or you
Well,
just look
think
like
about it in your mind,
Yeah.
manifesting. You know,
So there's a couple of opportunities in that regard. I'm hoping to go back to Australia this year to go
Me
wrestle,
too.
tour and wrestle
Yeah.
down there. I was just talking to actually a guy from it. I have some awesome matches coming up. Matter of fact, I have a match with a guy named Will Ospreay in January 21st that I'm really looking forward to. And then I'm hopefully getting some gold around my waist from AEW. That's
Hey,
obviously the
you can always use the
major
gold.
gold.
That's always nice.
Exactly. So then after I win this bodybuilding show,
Which
should
you
win.
will, and then you get your pro card.
We'll see. We'll see what happens from there.
All right. Let me. We're going to sign you off, but before we do that, tell your fans, family, your beautiful wife, your kids, anything plus your merchandise, your Instagram. Give us everything you got.
Everything right now, huh?
Oh, you know what I'm saying.
Well, if you're a fan of mine, I appreciate you guys being a fan. Follow me. Living the dream. I couldn't be living it without you guys. If you didn't know who I am, well, now you do. So hopefully you don't forget. You can follow me on Instagram, Brian Cage. I almost had my old Twitter handle, but I just changed it. Now it's Brian Cage GMSI on Twitter. Like the merch earlier, prowrestlingtees.com/Brian Cage. And to my beautiful wife, Melissa, I will see you on Wednesday. And yeah.
Well, I'm going to add something in there because you didn't give a shout out to Aaron Singerman and Redcon.
Oh, right. You know what, Joe? I was actually going to
Yo,
shake
that's-
a couple
yeah,
here.
that's
And I
okay.
know if it was conflicting, right? Oh, yeah. I will. That I'm excited about that too. Is Melissa and I both being. She's sponsored by Redcon.
Oh,
after her show.
congratulations to Melissa.
And so it's cool to kind of be a married couple being sponsored.
Hell
so
yes.
I'm looking forward to not only competing together with her, with the Redcon sponsorship, but also we're going to go out there in probably late February, mid-March, to go do a photo shoot and workout videos.
I want to see
together.
some fun videos with you too.
Yeah, that'll be good. That'll be good.
Like her kicking your ass.
And that's not going to happen.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
No, she's Latina. She's going to kick your
No.
white ass.
No.
All right. Well, anyway, listen, thank you so much, Brian Cage, the Machine Wolverine, for being on the Fit Rockstar show. We love having you here. Until next time, Fit Rockstar out.